Who is the Mandela of today? Who is the Nelson Mandela of today, folks? I ask you a question. I'm asking because there is so much that we as Africans, we as Kenyans, we as East Africans have to start looking at. The responsibility is on us. The way or the path or the direction that Africa is going, or at least some of the countries we are aware of, is not really good. And although our people are proud of the distance or the far we've come thus far, we're still quite far. We're still a little bit behind. And the trajectory at this point points towards us becoming again colonized. If it's not already colonized. I mean, it looks like actually we were never independent. But I know we have heroes. I know of this hero, Mr. Mandela. I know of this hero, the father of Kenya, Mr. Jomo Kenyatta. We know of Nyerere, we know of Nkrumah, we know of Mugabe, we know of Mandela, we know of Selassie. These were warriors. These are the people who brought freedom for us. These are the people who sacrificed their lives, sacrificed their times, sacrificed their families, sacrificed their freedom and the privileges they had. They've made those sacrifices. It's not just them alone. It's them and others who made the sacrifice to ensure or to make sure or to see to it that Africa became independent, away from these people who were come as visitors. These people had come to us as missionaries, the brother of missionaries, who turned around and gave us some books and stuff, and we wind up losing our resources, losing our lands. So these fighters fought, these fighters suffered. Mandela himself spent 9 years in jail. You know, I'm gonna tell you something, folks. I went on a flight, supposed to be 9-hour flight. And I'm telling you, in that flight, I could drink, I could sleep, but technically I couldn't go outside. So essentially I was kind of locked in. And it was freedom once I stepped out of that aircraft, once we landed at the airport that we were headed to. And I can only imagine 8-9 hours of misery in comparison to 10, 20, 29 years, where you have hard labor, called names, disrespected. You're worried of your children, you're worried of your family, you're worried of your wife. We're talking about heroes here. Listen to that. A man was thrown, rotten eggs, but still fighting, still walks through it, still perseveres. So I ask, so now we know these folks gave us freedom, these folks gave us independence, but there is so much to do. So in other words, what I'm saying is, at this time, there's still a lot more, so much more, that we as Africans have to start looking into, work on. There's so much that we have to embark on. Extremely, it is, I don't know how to put this, but I'm calling on Africans. I'm calling on anyone who will hear this voice to pick up the challenge. I'm calling on you and I to be the Mandela of today. I'm calling on you to be the Jomo Kenyatta of today. I'm calling on you, the African, to be the Nkrumah of today. Let's be a Mugabe today. A Mugabe who spent 9-10 years in jail fighting for only justice, peace, and right. That's all these men suffered for. Yes, it got to a point where they realized that at some point, talk won't work. You have to be militant. And I'm calling on our youth to start loving Africa. Love your Africa, not some European soccer and some European basketball, football. Love your Africa. Be a patriot to your own African people, African country. Shop within Africa. Visit other African sceneries. Improve your economy by spending within Africa. This is one way you can be the Mandela of today. But you can go further and be like a community organizer, because it's knowledge that we're lacking. The lack of knowledge is what's really pulling us behind. The reason we don't have an aircraft producing company, the reason we don't have vaccines produced in Africa, the reason we don't have an African country sending a space station into space, the reason we don't have so many of this new way of technology and stuff from Africa is because we have not invested in Africa. We're not investing to gain knowledge. And so I ask you, out of love for Africa, love for our black people, love for Africans, I ask you, you can start by being a community organizer. That's how Mandela started. You can put questions together and ask some of these politicians. Be a politician scrutinizer. Be a spiritual or preacher scrutinizer. There's so much that you can fight for. There's so much that you can do. There's so much that we can work on. There's so much that you can champion and be the Mandela of today. And that's what I'm asking. I am asking you to be the Mandela. Be the Jomo Kenyatta of today. You don't have to go to jail anymore. We're not worried of being independent anymore, at least in terms of locally. Nobody is going to colonize you, but we're being colonized psychologically. So seek knowledge. Read books written by Africans. Listen to the speeches by our folks in academia, the activists, the socializers, the folks who have learned, the folks who have studied about us, who know about us. Listen to those folks, walk with those folks. Don't go to that politician just to listen to a politician tell you what he thinks. You need to tell the politicians what you want. You need to tell the politician who you are, what you envision for your village, for your city. Because today it's a party club, a nightclub that is coming up in our cities. I don't see a milk producing factory. I don't see a corn silo. I don't see some new production or a company that just came up. I don't see those coming up. And yet we continue making children, and these youth continue running around jobless and hopeless. So we have a calling, and the calling is to be the Mandela of today. The calling is to do the right thing, is to speak right. There is no waiting for tomorrow. Be the Mandela of today. Start today. You have to speak, even if it means speaking controversial stuff. Like me, I've taken the path of saying, to hell with all this prayer and worship. I didn't see, we have zero evidence that shows it's helped us. When we were colonized, it took a Mau Mau people to go in the woods and start doing some killing, until someone realized that apparently we have a problem here. Because you can sing the same song, and that same song is not going to help you. So we are at a point where we all should recognize at this time, in this minute, in this hour, that the calling is on us. We have to fight and know where we're going, where we're taking our lives. This is the time. This is the hour. We cannot wait any further. We can make changes in our life. We can change directions of our lives. But you must be the champion of today. You must be the one, or I must be the one. So for me, like I said before, I've chosen to speak on controversial issues because we have to tell each other the truth. You will be hated, I will be hated, but it's better to walk alone and be a truth seeker and be a person who is speaking truth. It's better to be hated today. It's okay to be hated. Mandela was hated. Folks were running away from him. The folks who were scared of speaking against the apartheid, his brothers and sisters were running away from him because the guy was speaking controversial stuff. Martin Luther was speaking controversial stuff, and some of his brothers and sisters were running away from him. So it's better to run away and be the champion of a good cause, a champion of a future, a champion of tomorrow, a champion of your people. It's better that you die doing something than sitting there and become a useless, worthless person who is only fighting your brothers and sisters over some conviction that were given to you, over some ideals that were given to you. You must make the decision. Be the Mandela of today. I call again. There is no waiting for tomorrow. We should have been acting yesterday. Today is the time to move forward. Forward today. Again, if you have to be a community organizer, if you have to speak and seek truth about what some of these beliefs we believe in, if you have to scrutinize that preacher or scrutinize that politician, you must do it. This is not a time for them to come tell you things. It's time for you to tell them what you want to do, what you need. And you can do that via unity. And if there is no unity, be the only sole person who speaks. That's how European and Western worlds were built. Man came up and chose to do the right thing and sacrifice and became martyrs of truth. Right now we praise the American forefathers because those men came and said, we're going to do the right thing, we're going to unify, we're going to have a union, hate me or not. And it must be that even though Mandela and Nkrumah and Mugabe and Jomo did their best, the calling also is on us. The calling is on us today. It's not about fighting to be independent. It's about knowing, it's like sharing the knowledge that you've acquired, the knowledge that you have. It's about sharing that knowledge. It's about teaching our families, our youth, our communities, because we really are entangled in conspiracies and things that were of yesterday. And I'm begging you, let's go forward. Let's think straight.